it's really irritating. It's like, and I know exactly what would happen as well. Noah Samson did this a while ago. I probably still have the stream VOD of me reacting to it, even though he deleted the video. Noah Samson was saying like, oh, I didn't know about him and other doxes. I haven't seen the evidence because it's like a screenshot of redacted stuff. If I see the evidence, I'll, denounce him. But I'm like, I guarantee you they'll say that all the way up until you actually show the docs, and then they'll say, oh, but you just doxed yourself. That's what they'll do. A lawsuit could be incoming for Noah Samson if his lawyer approves it. Wait, what? For saying that he supports genocide and shit? What the fuck? Are you going to be on the H3 subathon? No plans. Nope. I don't care. Like, I'm not really like positive collab is just not that good to me. It's not my thing.
Can you send it to Can you send it to my attorney? Thank you. Sounds pretty defamatory. And again, I'm not taking any prisoners. If my attorney thinks there's anything in here, if he thinks that there's like a decent shot of defamation, I'm suing this fucking piece of shit, this little scumbag.
When did we ever back a genocide?
I'm sorry.
When? Like, show me.
I'm not playing around, man.
And what is Turkey Tom doing in there?
I don't...
It's because you're not part of the narrative. You don't do the narrative. You can literally call it a genocide and oppose it, but you need to be part of the narrative. And the narrative is that we take no quarters with Israelis. Like, we take no quarter. Not even... We don't even say, like... You don't say two states. You don't say Israeli security. You don't say, like... Hamas did bad things. You don't say any of that. Okay, that makes you defend genocide, apparently. All or nothing. All or nothing. God, these guys are so fucking disgusting. Jesus, like, it's so weird how, like, Western radicals literally just get to sit there from across a fucking ocean and be like, keep going, guys. Keep on chugging. Keep on fighting. You'll get it all back one day. Yeah, you'll dislodge these people who have nowhere else to go, and they're definitely not going to cede their demographic majority in 2025 in the Middle East as Jews. It's a good tactic though, eh? Because I support Ukraine wholeheartedly, and I don't really, it's in the Ukraine conflict, like you never see people like fucking purity testing each other and whether they call it a genocide. I've never even really made up my mind of whether I call what's happening in Ukraine a genocide. But maybe I should just start committing to that it is. Whatever, the last, is it section E or F, whatever, the one about removing children because Russia kidnapped 30,000 children and like turned them into little Russians and shit? Or 20,000? Don't know why that had security purposes. They just kind of did that because mental. Shall I just go like silence his violence on Noah Samson? He's not made a fucking video about anything in Ukraine. He actually... And if he mentions the death toll, I'm just going to multiply it by 3 and call him a denier for using a lower estimate. If he, God forbid, if that piece of shit says that the death toll in Mariupol was 25,000, I'm going to be like, excuse me, David Irving, the higher estimate's 75,000 in one city, by the way, that was besieged for less than a year, by the way.
I don't remember hearing him say anything about the conflict.
Me neither.
Destiny, I get. And Mudahar, by the way, is Muslim. So, like, it's a weird fucking thing that to even rope him in to it at all.
So this guy, the thumbnail, he was doing A/B test, and in another thumbnail there was also Lonerbox. So
That is so
That's
fucked
me.
up.
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
That is good, disgusting, dude.
Oh yeah, he did just kind of throw my picture in there without even substantiating. He did kind of just do that. It was right after you reacted to it. Yeah, I mean, if he wants to say it to me, like, I guess, like, to some degree, my position was that I supported Israel taking some action against Hamas. I don't support the way they did it because it was fucking mental. I thought the war should have ended like in July or June or whenever that ceasefire term was offered, the one that's quite similar to the one that they're in now. But, you know, I think some military action against Hamas was justified. And I also think getting rid of them in the long term is justified, even if it means by force. And I think it's not a genocide yet, pending further information. So I can see why he would want to call me that, you know, if he's a fucking idiot, but like. But Ethan, also, if you're going to put me in it, at least try to substantiate it. Like, the fuck? You should make a class action lawsuit against Noah. I would consider, honestly, I would consider what he did to with putting me in it malicious as well, because he literally only put my fucking face in that thumbnail after I'd reacted to him, as a kind of like, take that, bro.
That is so gross. Yeah, that's the thing. People.
Or Lonerbox doesn't get the clicks.
That's probably good in this case. Can you?
Oh no.
So Hasan started beef with Mudahar, who I'm acquainted with.
I will say, I'm sorry, like, people fucking hating on me seems to actually attract a fair bit of attention, given my size. I feel like for quite a small creator, it's like there's quite a big fucking industry in shitting on me, proportionate to my size. For some reason.
I know him well enough to know he's not pro-genocide. So this fucking little scumbag here who...
Oh, it's back to the start. Hmm. 1,300 viewers on YouTube isn't that small. Well, Noah's fans were shitting on Ukraine. I told you guys this many, many times. There is a good, and you can clip this if you want, because it's fucking true, okay? I told you this many times. There is a reason that all of these humanitarian, quote unquote, these faux humanitarian lefty shitheads were able to make 50 videos about Palestine, but not one about Ukraine. People like Sean, people like Noah Samson. It's because they know full well that their tanky shithead audience is divided. They know that some people would support them for opposing the invasion of Ukraine, and some people would hate them for supporting Ukraine because they are tankies who still to this day resent Eastern Europeans because they had 75 years or 70-ish years, they had decades of Soviet indoctrination and Soviet control over them and control of their education system and all the time and power in the world, literally purging their language, censoring their media, crushing opposition. They had every opportunity in the world to indoctrinate these people and re-educate them or whatever with Marxist-Leninism. And as soon as the Iron Curtain fell, they all ditched it. And they made fucking museums where they spoke about how Soviet rule was basically like dog shit, right? So that's why, and they turned the KGB prison into a museum where they give people tours and talk about how horrible it was. So that's Noah Samson's problem, right? That's why he can't really make a video condemning all of Putin's actions in Ukraine, or just isn't interested in it, because half of his audience will call him a NATO shill or some shit. Despite the fact that the Russia-Ukraine conflict should not be a conflict at all, because both sides agreed to settle it. Both sides agreed in 1994 that these were the borders. Crimea was in Ukraine. They declared independence. The majority of Crimeans voted in favor of Ukrainian independence in 91. And in 94, Russia, US, UK, Ukraine said, these are the borders, we all agree. That's what they said. That is so much more clear cut than the Israel-Palestine conflict, where like there's never been any fucking agreement from both sides on the borders or the final settlement or anything, right?
Wouldn't the Byzantines be ruling Syria? Istanbul was Constantinople after all. Syria prima will rise again. Latin cross emoji, star and crescent emoji, Star of David emoji.
Thanks for the $10, TV. I appreciate that. 25,000 civilians died in Mariupol alone, a single city in Ukraine, but no mention from these guys. Yeah, the death toll in Mariupol alone is estimated between like sort of 15, 20,000 and up to 75,000. We don't know because there's no, the Ukrainian health authorities cannot go in and count the dead. They can't. All we can do is have aerial photographs to look at the mass graves that have been built around the city to estimate that it could be as high as 75,000 dead in Mariupol. And the Russians are meanwhile trying to turn it into a Russian town, like a Russified city, and bringing settlers in and shit. Despite the fact that Ukraine never, October 7th, Moscow, right? They never launched people into Russia to murder civilians. They never tried to destroy Russia as a country. But apparently, like, Palestine's the simple one. Unbelievable. And you wonder why Jews see that discourse and think you're anti-Semitic. Like, you wonder why Jews think you're anti-Semitic when you give all that attention to Israel's actions, but you won't say a fucking word about Assad. You won't say a word about Russia, Ukraine. And when you do, it's like the most nuanced conflict in the world compared to Palestine. Yeah, people are going to think, why the disproportion? They're going to think that old joke. Anti-Semitism is hating Jews more than is absolutely necessary. Because despite all the shit that Israel does, it pales compared to the actions of someone like Putin or Assad. But, you know, Assad, who was supported by Hezbollah and the Houthis, by the way, who these guys glaze. See, even this fucking idiot in chat, Kherson and Zaporizhia is Ukrainian, Donetsk, Luhansk is Russian, Crimea should be an independent country. Like, what a retarded colonial fucking supremacist bullshit thing to say. It's like saying that, all the settlements are Israeli because they're majority Jewish now. Like, why the fuck would you say that? It's so dumb. Why did these regions become majority Russian? Oh yeah, because the Soviet Union, which oversaw fucking famines and ethnic cleansing, decided to replace populations with Russian settlers, or the Russian Empire did it before then. Or because they literally purged the Ukrainian national identity and the national identity of other areas by banning their language or by suppressing people in education and suppressing thinkers and poets and intellectuals. Like, what are you talking about? Why would you have that position? Both sides agreed to the borders, you fucking idiot. Jesus. Remember the Holodomor? Someone's going to respond by saying, well, actually, the Holodomor wasn't really a genocide because the Stalin order was more to do with stopping the spread of disease. Okay. Matt Lieb.
I mean, grow up. These people are so pathetic.
He can talk about us, but you cannot respond. I always love that.
Bro, you on your show, and I hope you can find this, said that I'm a Jewish supremacist. And then when I call you a piece of shit, call you out, you go, oh, I'm being harassed. Like, how do these people always go to the same pathetic talking points?
I don't know.
How is it harassment that I made a few Insta stories about you, you pathetic fucking worm?
You choose to participate in a snark Reddit page with your name on it, and then it's a problem that Ethan points it out. I'm sorry. It's
the interview bad empanada, bro.
It's disgraceful to participate in a snark page. It is. And
I think it's
Ethan
disgraceful as
is allowed to point it out.
And also,
if that's too much for you, maybe get off the internet.
Right.
And
or at least
maybe don't work for a reputable company like Red and Link. You don't deserve to work there.
I was going to say, you don't have to get off the internet, but you should certainly get off that show.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I think he should be fired, frankly. And I hope he is fired because he's pathetic and he interviewed basically a terrorist.
What do you mean basically a terrorist? Bro, he's actually a terrorist. He was attacking Hasan for like humanizing Israelis, for making friends with Israelis who literally want Israel abolished. But because they're Israeli, fuck off, man. The guy's actually a terrorist. He's not basically a terrorist. Anyway. I feel more bad for Noah because Noah was probably just, at one time, Noah was just some kind of like ditzy, kind of himbo-ish, heart in the right place, but just doesn't really know how to navigate the world, the complex world. And he just spent the last 3 or 4 years getting radicalized on the internet by crazy people. They caught him when he was young. Oh no. Ethan talks about what happens when you criticize Hasan. Oh, no.
Buddha, and I want to talk, I guess, to Turkey Tom, because people, I think that it's just, I'm done with people using that as some kind of like commonplace insult, because it's not. And words have meaning, and there needs to be accountability. There, we have civil laws for a reason.
Whoa.
And I'm doing everything I can to fight this seemingly like overwhelming war that it's like every time I push back, I get buried 2 times over. There's like this infrastructure from Reddit to Twitter, TikTok,
It's
YouTube, everywhere.
everywhere.
It's like, and it's just, it's so all encompassing that I don't blame Hasan for thinking he is the Palestinian movement, because that's how people treat him. If you criticize Hasan, you get CPS called.
Oh no.
All he's doing is actually the opposite and push people away from the movement.
Why are you simping for Noah? The man equated Zionism with Nazism. How the fuck did what I just say is... How the fuck was what I just said simping? What? Okay.
And because
100%.
you have to be so extreme or you're against it.
100%.
And he leaves no room in the middle for like...
I don't think... The thing with Noah is he's more of a reflection of just the problem with the community, because he's got an audience for the shit that he says, right? For all the insane, like stupid, uninformed, like illogical shit that he comes out with. Like every video he does is just rammed with like logical fucking errors and headlines that are contradicted by the article, like all this kind of shit. But he gets elevated for it. He gets rewarded for it. And there's this whole thing about when people talk about audience capture, right? Is I don't think when people kind of like cynically repeat things that the algorithm rewards them for, I don't think they're doing it in a very conscious way most of the time. I think people fasten their confidence and their self-esteem to the way the algorithm treats them as creators. And when they say something and do something that the algorithm rewards, they feel more validated and they feel like repeating that behavior, and that feels more correct, right? I think they genuinely believe that. I think they genuinely believe that by behaving in that way, it does vindicate their actions and make them more correct. Like you would think getting absolutely fucking humiliated, like absolutely mauled by Vosh when he could barely string a sentence together explaining his decolonize brackets, remove all the white South Africans defense. But he made a video coping about it and calling Vosh an asshole and got rewarded for it. Like the video did really well and barely, like the audience supported him for it. So yeah, of course you're going to think that what you're doing is correct if you're a bit fickle, right? But I think that's what it is. A problem with the community. The problem is that like when you have these trends, things like BreadTube or I guess like what do you call it now? What do you call it now? Like Marxist jihadism. When you have that and you get rewarded for that in the algorithm, and you get massively rewarded for pushing that stuff right now, then you're going to believe it's convincing. Yeah, like, but that's there's a community that elevates all that like trash. It's all elevated by the community. So it's not like these creators are bad apples or anything. There's just a big systemic problem.
reasonable voices that want to care about the Palestinian cause, but don't want to be okay with terrorists, you know, and want the
and yes,
hostages back.
It's like who said? I think it was Hutch. He's like, Ethan should be like your best ally.
Right.
He's like a fucking liberal Jewish man who's a dual citizen to Israel.
Right.
And he's conceding that like West Bank settlers are like valid military targets. He's conceding that like we can do a two-state solution in the interim and work towards a one state. He's like pro-Palestinian. The fact that you guys treat him like he's a fucking genocide Nazi.
Yeah, but it's not about that, though. It's not about who says and believes and does things that would be helpful towards ending the conflict. It's not about that, right? It's about who can display the most morally, quote unquote, morally pure position, the position that feels the most good, right? And the position that feels the most good is the dogmatic, maximalist, cede no ground, goodies and bad, good versus evil, no quarter. Even if Hasan so much as talks to someone who is Israeli, but doesn't even seem to want Israel to exist, like, then that's a problem, you know? It's just about what feels good. And obviously I can totally see why, in terms of advocacy, it does play well, especially with people who don't really know any better, right? Obviously, it feels good to say that every single Palestinian, like, descendant or whatever, citizen of Jordan or anything else, gets the right to return. Yes, they get to take the key from they get to take the old rusty 1940s key and put it in the door of the house that is destroyed or abandoned, most likely, and reclaim it. Like, it feels bad to say no, these refugees should right of return doesn't make sense. For the last 250 years, overwhelming majority of refugees never got a right of return. The majority of Israelis are descendants of refugees from the Middle East, and they're never getting right of return. But it feels bad to say that. You feel like an asshole, right? It feels good to say that they deserve like the full right of return. It feels good to say that all of Israel should just be like abolished, and then you get to like have this nice looking map with the border all complete without any blemishes on it. Like, even just aesthetically, you know, like, you can see why the pan-Arab, pan-Islamist ideology is so seductive, because you look at this map and you just think, oh wow, there could have once been the great like Arab or Muslim nation, and it's just got this cancerous growth in it that just needs to get wiped out so that everything will be okay. And then, like, that's the way that they see it in Iran, and like how the Ayatollah and Hezbollah and people like in the Houthis, that's how they see it. That's what they see Israel as. And I guess if you're in the West, the narrative that's really popular about Israel now is that it's all about human rights, right? It's about, we don't want to really contend with human rights issues that are maybe a bit too difficult or seem a bit too like hard to overcome, say like Russia and Ukraine, because it feels like Russia is this like immovable fucking fortress and everything. So we don't really care about that one. So like we just channel all of it into like Israel, right? Like, or Sudan. Who gives a fuck about Sudan, right? Okay. But, or even who gave a fuck about Yemen until they started making their struggle about Palestine? No one gave a shit about the Houthis until like barely. They were a talking point, I think, for like Corbynites in 2019, but barely. Most people didn't give a fuck about Yemen until they started attacking ships in the Red Sea because they made it about Palestine. Or no one wants to talk about like human rights abuses that might happen in like under Assad or like in Iraq or the UAE or anything like that. But let's just channel it all into Israel. You know, there was that guy. He was that guy on Twitter that I saw. His name was it Kenneth Roth? Is that his name? It was when Israel did that hostage rescue operation in Gaza. And there's a video of it. There's like a huge gunfight going on, and these soldiers like charging into this building, and there's just like gunfire everywhere. And they fist bump the hostage. The hostage is like clearly confused, like he thinks it might be a ruse. And then they get them and they take them back. Yeah, Kenneth Roth from Human Rights Watch. Yeah, and Kenneth Roth goes on Twitter and is like, "This is perfidy. This is a clear-cut case of perfidy." Because what Israel did was they disguised themselves in an aid truck to get to the building, and then came out because they didn't want to go through all of these Gazan like houses and streets in Israeli tanks. So they kind of like snuck in. But international law for perfidy, it's the people that you're attacking that it's illegal to do that ruse on. So the people that they were deceiving were not the people they attacked. They were in an aid truck to get through the city in case there were militants like in any of the buildings on either side of them. But once they got to the building where the hostages were taken, they were out in military uniform. The people who were in the building holding the hostages knew that there was soldiers coming to them. So that's not even really perfidy. And then the fact that he would say that, and then like looking through his Twitter feed, he never once mentioned that perfidy is like the entire essence of how Hamas fights. Because it doesn't matter when they do it. It doesn't matter when they all dress as civilians and throw their uniforms out until the ceasefire. But apparently them using an aid truck to get through a neighborhood before going to the actual building where they actually were all in uniform. They were in military uniform when they went to the building to save the hostages. But apparently that was perfidy. Like, fuck. And okay, coming back to it. Yeah, so if I was Jewish, I would just be like, why? Why the fuck? Why are we so fucking special? What?
Disinterested in it, but he has advertised for Marvel Rivals before, and Marvel Rivals is made by a company in China called NetEase, but they're in collaboration with Marvel Games, which is owned by Disney.
The IP is owned by Disney.
Yes.
And we've collaborated actually with Marvel here, and we know what it's like. Like, they have to approve everything.
Every single pixel of every single photo.
Was it not perfidy? So if you can read through the text for the law on perfidy, I can go find it if you want. Yeah, perfidy generally seems to, the way I read it is, it sounds like you shouldn't exercise perfidy against the people that you're attacking. But the people that they were deceiving with that aid truck were not the people that they were fighting with. They were deceiving people in the city. Like the civilian population, presumably, right? Because that's what they were, or any maybe militants who would have been watching from the windows of those areas that they were driving through. But they came out. I can maybe watch through the entire operation, but like you can see the video. They come out of the truck before they go into the building, and they make it clear that they're soldiers. Like, they're in uniform. They're completely, like, they're unambiguously. They could have pretended to be civilians and gone all the way in through the door and into the house. Maybe someone pretends to get shot or something, but this assumes there was no Hamas between the destination and start point. I don't know. Like, is it perfidy if you deceive like a Hamas watchman who's why would they need to trick civilians? Because some civilians want to help Hamas, right? Like a civilian might, whistle or tell someone if they see an Israeli tank coming through their neighborhood, right? If you're in a dense enough area, then maybe one civilian will do something.
Pretty much. You've dealt with that, it sounds like. Yeah. And the reason I bring that up is because Hasan, the anti-capitalist, he has an excuse. He says, of course I'm on Twitch that's owned by Amazon because there's nowhere else. Where am I else going to get my message out? So he has a plausible excuse there. What's his excuse for working for Disney?
Debatable, by the way, that excuse.
It's debatable, but it's valid. It's valid, right? It's enough to get by. What is this anti-capitalist revolutionary's excuse for working with Disney, a partnership that he only did for money? What's the rationalization? Is Disney, as far as I understand, not the best? I mean, not the most anti-capitalist company in the world, huh? It's unacceptable. That like a mainstream company like Marvel is even fucking working with someone like Hasan is nauseating. The
Yeah.
fact that a mainstream management company, Night Media,
And this guy is really going for a fucking scorched earth policy here. He's not beating the Israeli dual citizen allegations with this with this disproportionate force. Oh God, overwhelming force.
is working with someone like Hasan is nauseating. It's pathetic. It's unacceptable. These companies are going to take a long, hard look in the fucking mirror and ask themselves, like, are they doing the right thing? Because at a certain point, there's going to be a reckoning. This is a powder keg, and it's going to explode someday, and all of these people are going to look so fucking bad. Night Media should absolutely drop Hasan. They should not be fucking managing him. Period. What's going on with you guys, man? The guy promotes terrorism.
This was the article. This website's pretty good for, because they take you very, it's one of the legal analysis websites where they actually take you very clearly through the arguments, counter arguments, like what someone, so one counter argument they suggest here that isn't actually valid is when people say that rescuing hostages isn't actually like an armed conflict IHL issue, it's a policing operation. But that's not true in this case, because obviously it was like very clearly in the context of Israel fighting with Hamas, and obviously Hamas people were killed like in large numbers in this operation. So they kind of like, they set up sort of like potential counter arguments and then knock them down. But the one that they give here is this. It's important to recall that no military operation is a single event. Intelligence must be collected and analyzed. Operational preparations must be made. Forces must travel to the objective, and once the mission is completed, either return to their base or move to another objective. In the 8th of June rescue operation, the key component was the assault on the apartments where the hostages were being held. It was during the assault that the first Hamas fighters were killed. Based on the videos and witness statements described above, it appears that at least some of the Israeli forces were wearing civilian clothes, but were also wearing military equipment and carrying weapons. In fact, despite their civilian clothes, witnesses described them as being Israeli soldiers. When the rescue team used explosives or kicked in the door, they were no longer intending to use their civilian clothing to deceive the guards. At that point, the guards would not be under any impression that the entering Israeli forces were entitled to protection under IHL. As mentioned above, the key elements to a successful hostage rescue mission are surprise and speed. Once the door was breached, the element of surprise was lost, and it would have been evident to the guards that whoever was entering was not a protected civilian. Even if the guards had been supporting Israeli forces, those units were wearing military equipment and carrying weapons, so were not holding themselves out as protected civilians. The issue is that this could apply to AQ fighters too. No. AQ fighters do not wear uniforms have not worn uniforms during the conflict. They took their uniforms off and only brought them back on during the ceasefire. So with Al-Qassam brigades, they can walk towards you, and under IHL, like, that's like you're in doubt. Or what are you talking about? As Professor Smith asked in a previous post in Articles of War, when does the prohibition on wearing civilian clothes kick in? Article 44 of Additional Protocol 1 requires combatants to distinguish themselves from the civilian population while they are engaged in an attack or a military operation preparatory to attack. Further, in order to retain combatant status, the combatant is required to carry arms openly during a military engagement and during such time as he is visible to the adversary while he is engaged in a military deployment preceding the launching of an attack in which he is to participate. Those requirements are not determinative of perfidy, as a violation would only result in loss of prisoner of war status. However, compliance with these requirements is specifically considered not to be perfidous. This is the problem as well, because when you look at the wording of the law for perfidy, it's specifically that you're feigning protective status so that you can attack, kidnap, kill, or capture, basically. Like, yeah, like kill or capture, or injure. Which means like the people that they were deceiving when they went from the truck into the area, they were not attacking them, kidnapping them, or killing them. Like, yeah. Anyway. Amaranth breaks her silence. Oh no. Now I can break some of my silence. The one object they took was a MacBook. With Find My turned on, there was a moment of total panic after I got out of the hospital the night of the incident, tracked the MacBook, and was in disbelief that we were at the same hospital. I may have seen the one who was shot while I was being discharged, but at the time I thought they were doing something far more sinister. It looks like Kenneth Roth said this in a reply to a tweet that said the combatants were dressed as civilians. How is this not an honest misunderstanding? Because if you are the ex-head of Human Rights Watch, you probably shouldn't be riffing and making moral statements off of tweets that you've seen. You should probably just like analyze the process and then speak about it afterwards.
Israel flag.
I didn't say Kenneth Roth does what he does because of anti-Semitic bias, like he's Jewish. I'm just saying that the outcome just looks very anti-Semitic when that's the kind of shit you do, because I don't think I recalled Kenneth Roth saying at any point before that that he thought Hamas was like engaged in perfidy like all the time as a default fighting style. Like, anyway.
Israel flag.
Just seems like double standard, you know? Big double standard. What is this? Oh, God. Did he set himself on fire?
Israel flag.
The fucking size of it, man, is massive. It's such a big. Why is it such a big flag? I'm not trying to be an asshole, but like you play with fire, you get burned. It's not even being metaphorical. It's just what happens sometimes when you play with fire, you get burned. The fuck?
He didn't. You're telling me they're in an Ivy League school, but they don't know how to stop, drop, and roll? I thought you learned that in first grade. That's a hate crime? It's not. I don't want it to be a hate. You think I want it to be a hate crime for lighting up in Israel? I don't give a fuck about this shit. It's a fucking flag. And if it's
at least he understands that. There we go. But what if the flag just said West on it? Then you'd want him deported, right? Surely. What? Wouldn't you want him deported, Asmongold? If he just wrote West, Western civilization on the flag, then the wrath of Asmongold would be down on you. Like a nuclear bomb.
His flag. Now, you could say, maybe you shouldn't be starting a fire in a public space. And I think, yeah, that's fair. But I don't want to put this clown in jail over fucking this. Absolutely not. Israel's fighting back. Well, they got more pagers.
What?
Jesus, bro. Like, it's just embarrassing, man. I don't know what you say about this shit. Yeah, it's bad. And they stopped teaching that shit whenever they stopped teaching cursive. Really? Yeah, I mean, I guess I had to leave.
It is quite metaphorical. It's quite symbolic of just how the entire like axis of resistance approach to Israel is gone, isn't it? Uh-oh. Right up there with the trash can shields. Oh my God, the trash can shields. I can't with it. Don't make me watch the trash can shields again. Denims claims she has a smoking gun Uno reverse card on Ethan Klein coming tomorrow. Every accusation is a self-report.
And it's going to be a good stream. Tomorrow is going to be a very good stream. Okay. I don't want to spoil too much. But whew. Yeah.
What did she say? What happened?
It's juicy. It's juicy. It's really juicy. Because you have to understand, for that guy, every accusation is a self-report.
Oh no.
All right. No one is doing the things that he claims are happening. He is doing those things.
Did he accuse Denims of child abuse? Uh-oh.
So we'll wait until you guys see the smoking gun for tomorrow. All right. It's a good one.
Matt Lieb, Good Mythical Morning. Bad Empanada Files, there are doxes. Horrible shit. Wouldn't be wise to release it publicly. That is really, it's really irritating. It's like, and I know exactly what would happen as well. Noah Samson did this a while ago. I probably still have the stream VOD of me reacting to it, even though he deleted the video. Noah Samson was saying like, oh, I didn't know Bad Empanada doxes. I haven't seen the evidence because it's like a screenshot of redacted stuff. If I see the evidence, I'll, denounce him. But I'm like, I guarantee you they'll say that all the way up until you actually show the docs, and they'll say, oh, but you just doxed yourself. That's what they'll do. They're harassing each other. Oh, it's mutual abuse based. Ooh. Matt Lieb responds to a fan expressing disappointment of his support of Bad Empanada. I don't know what supporting Snark means. I left a few comments on H3 Snark where people were talking about me, and I'd say things like, oh, thanks. The one Ethan circled is a post on r/H3 Productions about how Ethan is brigading me. Don't see how that's supporting Snark or supporting attempts at docs. That's just me replying. In terms of BE, he was my guest on a podcast in Jan, and his beef with Ethan is between him and Ethan. We talk about Ethan on the show because it's a show about Hasbro, and Ethan does Hasbro. Wow. Why do they all write like they're 14 years old? It's so weird. Most likely didn't call CPS on him. Pretty sure he's just trolling him, but even if he did, that's between them. They both seem to be harassing each other. You can criticize me for platforming a guy. Oh, you fucking coward, man. Just, it's so stupid. Just be like, yeah, he's an attack dog. He's my rabid, deformed, inbred attack dog. And I like it. Okay. I like it when he dribbles down the necks of other creators. It makes me happy, you know? Just say that. Both sides. Hasan wants to talk to Asmongold, reacts to the Hasan system. Oh no, what, the meme?
Information age Cold War to be, and I said, I'd say it, I said I'd do it in person to be fair. And there is like, this is the funniest fucking response to that. This is what I saw in response to that. The Hasan system, the proven method for handling criticism, hide, ignores critics' content to obscure their argument.
True, does that.
Alter, drastically misrepresent their opposing view.
Yep. Oh, wait, yeah, he does that. He totally does that. Massively. Like all the time. Wow.
Strawman. Also, I look pretty hot in this. So thank you. Once again, my haters like making me look hot. Strawman. Attack the misrepresentation by grouping critics with deplorables. Avoid. Debate only weaker opponents, not the original person. Name call. Label frustrated. Opposition is crazy or obsessed to discredit them. Now, what's really interesting about this is I think it's projection, but also it kind of fails because
now I want to debate everyone. Now all I want to do is debate everyone.
That I openly will say I want to debate, right? Like Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, Charlie Kirk. And what is really funny about it is that this basically demonstrates how stupid you are. You have to be as a Marine Corps veteran, because this is me literally saying I would talk to Asmongold in person. And you're just like, nah, dude, I bet you're running away from him. Like, it makes no sense.
What, because he's become a debate bro in the last week after calling it the most like ridiculous, shitty, uninformative art form ever. And the entire, I don't know, I feel like so much of like Hasan's behavior is just, it's all explainable to him being insecure about his intelligence. That's why he surrounds himself with all these very, very partisan journalists. That's why he really likes anyone that will tell him things that's very full of like jargon. That's why he likes using words like settler, colonial, genocide, apartheid, ethnic. That's why he likes using all these like terms that are spammed like across all these like academic papers. That's why he um does dodge debates with people unless they're like commentary creators or like fucking Asmongold. He'll talk to right wingers like Ben Shapiro and people like that. Like, really? Would Ben Shapiro say no to a debate with Hasan? In any case, like, otherwise, what's clout? People who can give you clout. And that's why his hatred of debating was always explained as like, I just don't think it's like really the best way to explore reality and to explore the facts. You know, it's all just rhetoric. It's only the people who win are just the good rhetoricians. Whereas what I do is like real political commentary, where I have a screen that is always rammed to the fucking gills with Twitter tabs and YouTube videos. And I respond to criticism by looking through the replies on Twitter because I can't come up with anything myself. Yeah, I think it's basically all down to him being insecure about his intelligence.
But hey, thank you for keeping a sexy photo of me in your phone. That's nice.
Care about Asmongold doing right-wing propaganda.
No, and also the reason why I want to talk to Asmongold is pretty clear, like pretty open. I'm pretty open about it. I don't care about Asmongold doing like transmog competitions or even like reacting to political stuff in general with his own seasoning. That's great.
His own seasoning. I love the Asmongold seasoning. Mm-hmm. Yup. Mm-hmm. Whoop. Yup.
Right?
They deserve each
other. I do, however, care about like, you know, Asmongold doing right-wing propaganda either deliberately or because he just doesn't have all the facts.
Wait, don't you accuse all of us of that? Don't you accuse everyone of that? You accuse me of that, bro. You accuse me of doing right-wing propaganda and not having all the facts, having bad research.
And in that process, I've never not been charitable to Asmongold. I would still absolutely be charitable to Asmongold in a conversation, like in a direct conversation. You know what I mean? And I think that watching clips of one another is not going to give people the full scope of people's arguments. But what I don't understand is a lot of these people used to always say, "Oh, Hasan, you're like afraid of debates. You're too afraid of debates. I don't understand why you're so afraid of debates." And it's like now they still say I'm afraid of debates while I'm trying to talk to Asmongold. So they have to like...
Mate. Asmongold is like, bro.
Asmongold is... fan. I don't understand why Hasan is protected so hard by online leftists. It should be easy to state that some of his takes are awful. But some people will go as far as to defend his refusal of 07 rapes. Maddening.
Now, don't careful with that disinformation, Carney. Hasan actually does acknowledge all the rapes that happened on October 7th. All one of them, he believes. One. Ignore all the credible witness statements about more than one. Actually, quite a lot for 10 hours in a small space of time. But only one. One. But thanks for the £20. Appreciate it.
Wild how a lot of us fell into the negativity, came here and get mesmerized by Azan's arms. Yeah, that's usually what it is, honestly. Honestly, that's what it is. I just, people come in here and they're like, you know what? This Hasan guy's a really bad guy. I'm going to show him what's what. And then I do one of these and they're like, wait a minute. This guy seems to take care of himself. And he seems to have some opinions that maybe I misunderstood. Because other people were
out of context.
He was bad, but they weren't really explaining it. Your new NPR interview is great. I don't think I did an NPR interview recently. I think I did it in like a while ago.
Okay.
Generation S. Asmongold versus
Puff piece. Don't care. Grifting. Censorship. Oh, there's so much. Ethan Klein is Michael Rappaport based. Michael Rappaport, the guy that wants the river to the sea to be all Israeli and all the Palestinians have to get deported. That's apparently what Ethan Klein believes. Okay, true. Becoming a far right Zionist or a right wing Zionist, bro. You have no idea. The way these guys play around with the Overton window is so whatever. Yeet versus the Houthis. Yeah. Listen, this is the information war against Houthis, obviously. I feel like a lot of this is, oh no, Asmongold said he visits the Destiny subreddit. Oh no. They're cyber terrorists, they do slander propaganda. Oh wow. By the way, Lonerbox loves it when Palestinians get raped in the thousands. It makes him really happy. Also, everyone else is being slanderers. Woo. Okay, dude. Disinformation tracker. It's wild to be this wrong about the issue without reading a single article in the matter. It's borderline malicious to say this on the day that the UN released a 49-page report detailing how Israel has used sexual violence as a weapon against Palestinians since October 7th. I believe if you count, I don't know why would you even bother? But if you count the actual singular, like each individual instance of rape that's mentioned in each report, like just rape, the number I think in the UN report talking about October 7th still lists more incidents, or maybe about the same amount, even though Hamas only had military superiority for 10 hours compared to 16 months. But I don't know. Shit. That's just a fact, by the way. Like, whoa. There's so much. This is all from one day. This has to be more than one person. This is like a full-time job. Wait, what was the Denim's nuke? What was the Denim's nuke? She had a banger, the smoking gun. Smoking gun.
This is a live feed of the chat. This isn't edited.
What about the top right? I thought these were
No, it's
selected.
this, I think when you full screen it. No, this is an edit. It's a cutout of the full chat. It's just enlarged there.
Oh, really?
Over the screen, yeah.
Did you catch that last clip? Yep, his own employee just tried to show him that he's wrong, and he ignored it because he's lying. The clip is deceptively edited. He's doing it again. At this point, I don't know if he's watched a single real video of me. Let's see that again. Look at the chat in the top right corner.
He has kids, and his kids like...
Oh, because this one's a compilation. You can tell because the gaps are bigger. Wait, Mate, joke's on you, okay? This was all collected from my chat over a period of what, like... It would still only be a few minutes from the same stream. Oh, it wasn't all my chat saying call CPS. It was just enough to fill the page. Fuck me. Okay. Well, that's a nothing burger. I mean, Ethan was dumb for saying it that way. Like, it obviously was. The one on the left is obviously an edit. It's a compilation of all the people saying, like, call CPS, bad parenting, eating shit, and everything. Damn. What a liar. What a lying bastard. Look, because there were some people saying, what the fuck? Ew. What was the rest of the chat? Wait, let's just watch the real chat then. Let's see the smoking gun. Let's watch the real chat.
Real video of me. Let's see that again. Look at the chat in the top right corner.
He has kids, and he's...
Okay, there it is. Ew, wait, what?
Kids like crawling...
Oh, so that's how everyone got shit disease. No way.
Love that.
What? What the fuck?
Good point.
Scared face.
Said, is this
What the fuck? Wait, what? And his kids got fucking giardia. What the fuck? Shit mansion.
comment? I believe this is a live feed of the chat.
LeMayo. Poo poo caca. This is so fucking funny. Not surprising.
What about...
Gross. This is deceptively edited. Are you fucking joking? Wait, it's actually the entire chat. What the fuck? It's all of them. What am I even hearing? What?
Top right.
Do it yourself, maybe. What the fuck? That's fucking foul. New mold
No,
king.
it's
What is this? Chat GBT. Okay, someone's talking about Chat GBT.
This
Bro, he makes the crew clean up the
I
studio. Giardia.
when you full
KW. Holy fuck, this is bad. That's why he's coughing.
screen it.
Jesus Christ.
No, this is an edit. It's
Omega Law, I'm dying. Dog nanny, brother. Ugh.
a cutout of the full chat. It's
I'm crying.
just
Stop.
enlarged
Oh,
there
really?
over the screen. Yeah.
What? They got Giardia? No, man, what the fuck? First time I thought about it. BE, please, bro. Giardia babies. This dude gives no shit. Yup. What? The dog also ate human meds on the show. Jesus can't save us. His kid got worms. What the fuck? Ew. Please tell me this isn't
This is
true.
a live feed of the chat. This
So-
isn't edited.
What about the top right? I thought these were
No, it's
selected.
this. I think when you full screen it. No, this is an edit. It's a cutout of the full chat.
This is an edit. Oh, he actually even said it's an edit. It's a cut. Oh, it's an edit. Ah. It's an edit. It's an edit. Lorelai is coping so hard right now. Lorelai is like our token fucking like is our token Marxist terrorist, our Marxist jihadist. And they because this was spread out over what, like a couple of minutes or however long they were talking about this issue. Yeah, this is an edit. He said this is an edit from the chat. And this is this many people saying call CPS.
Over the screen, yeah. This is a live feed.
On an unvetted claim from someone that everyone knows is a liar. Huh. Okay. What am I watching? What am I watching? What's this? What is this? It was actually 7% of her chat saying call CPS. What? Okay. Are these the amount of chats that were sent? Only 65 people. Well, I suppose if it's only 65 people, how am I supposed to police a community? They had time for AB. He literally says this isn't edited. And then right after he said this is an edit, presumably pointing to the one on the left and saying the other one was the chat scrolling.
Dude, what?
So what Ethan should have said, to be clear, is that this is a compilation on one side of the amount of people in her chat saying to call CPS, and the other side is the real chat. That's what you should have said, okay? Are we going to pretend like that meaningfully changes anything? Are you guys how stupid are, I don't even. How desperate. It's like, it's not even good lying. It's just, okay.
Dude, what?
By not an edit, he could have meant the messages are real. Yeah, because right after he said this is an edit. What are we talking about now?
I just don't fucking.
Are we supposed to look at the chat talking about AB? Dearborn, disappointing ick, what a piece of shit. Oh.
It's just. Sorry, I take issue with people like. I just think it's gross to tweet out Free Palestine for anything other than the purpose of wanting to bring more attention to Palestine. Like saying that you're doing it for any other purpose, I just don't like that. It's just gross. It's just gross, man. I just don't like it. And now I have to do this thing every fucking 2 seconds, apparently. Don't tap the glass. Don't tap the glass. They sat there while Lonerbox called American doctors and nurses liars for reporting that they saw countless examples of IDF snipers shooting children in the head and drones targeting civilians intentionally.
I didn't call them liars. I didn't call them liars. Most of the doctors who spoke to the New York Times, those 65 doctors, did not mention snipers. I said the one doctor who said that they were all deliberately targeted on purpose by snipers was saying was not showing enough evidence. That's all I said. And that's true. He didn't show enough evidence. He said it was high velocity ammunition. It was one doctor, maybe two, because he had a colleague. And they just said it's high velocity ammunition, which just means it came out of a rifle. Completely ignoring the fact that in urban warfare, you've got like, especially in urban warfare with an enemy that practices perfidy, when you've just got like the perfect environment for people to make mistakes and for fucking bullets to go through walls or for Hamas to carry out friendly fire as well. It's just, oh, it's so retarded. Whatever.
The glass. Don't tap the
But you know, thanks for checking, Dennis.
glass.
Go check.
They
Oh wait. Who told her that? Oh, it was, hey, it's Mike from PA. Fat Mike. Fat Mike. Countless examples. I never even denied that some IDF people were doing this. I believe wholeheartedly that at least a few of them were doing this. I just disagreed with the idea that it was like hundreds and they were doing it like they were actually sent out to go and do it, which is what was the claim was made. This is the one where I think you've got to tone chill a bit because it makes it easier for people to clip chimp you. Emboman, have you not spent the last 12, 14, 15, 16 months realizing that these people do not need me to say anything out of turn? They don't need anything. There are two directions I go right now, okay? One is to actually sit there fucking shitting myself at the thought of my own shadow for fear that the people who were always going to call me a Nazi might call me a Nazi some more. Or I just double down on what I believe in, which I'll do. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. You don't just get to fucking fabricate a story based on two doctors who thinks that everyone in that every Israeli is a Nazi, which is what that guy said, that Mark Perlmutter guy. You don't get to do that and then have a go at someone else for being skeptical of the claim. I was right to be skeptical of that claim. The evidence for it was fucking bullshit. Does it absolve the Israelis of war crimes? No. It just absolves them of this one cartoonishly evil claim. It takes padding to not scare people off. No, don't care. If you're scared off by anything I just said, you shouldn't be in this community. Like I don't need it. I don't need you. Don't need it. Don't need them.
Wanting to bring more attention to Palestine. Like saying that you're doing it for any other purpose. I just don't like that. It's just gross. It's just gross, man. I just don't like it. And now I have to do this thing every fucking 2 seconds, apparently. Don't tap the glass. Don't tap the glass.
So she got that from Fat Mike. That's why. The Couch Slayer. Because he was... Did he just... It seems like he copy-pasted that message. He did it here as well. This is what he said with... This is talking about Hasan not going to Palestine, I guess. He could still go to the West Bank. I don't understand that. When American doctors and nurses went to Gaza, they came back saying the IDF snipers were intentionally shooting children in the head. Ethan's response was to invite Lonerbox in his stream to... Like, why are you acting like these events were even fucking related? Ethan invited me on the show before that stupid, like, clip went out. That clip came from, like, a 15-second clip, which is actually still... Interestingly, it's out of context because right after I talk about how Israel's committing a lot of war crimes and that it doesn't rule out some of it being intentional. But yeah, he asked me on the show before that video went out. That was just like a 15-second clip taken from a stream VOD. I didn't even upload the segment. It's from an unlisted stream VOD. That's how desperate these fucking idiots are to try and catch me being a fraction as depraved as them. Meanwhile, they actually do say openly or accept the idea that there's no such thing as an Israeli civilian. When Hamas invaded Israel, Mike's response was to gain weight. Lorna, did the visit in Israel change your mind or not really? I hate settlers more than I did before I went there, which was already quite a lot.
They sat there while Lonerbox called American doctors and nurses.
What do you mean they sat there? Did I talk about snipers when I was on the H3 podcast? Mike's a liar. Mike just tells lies. Mike just tells lies. I can see how it works though, because had that not been spread around, my commentary on that situation would have just begun and ended with, yeah, I think some of them are committing war crimes. I'm just not convinced that it's some kind of like broad fucking policy or broad like they're not sending sniper units out to just go and find kids and shoot them for no reason. And then that would have just ended there. But it doesn't absolve them of some of them actually intentionally committing war crimes and doing it because they can get away with it because the IDF standards are shit. That's where that commentary would have begun and ended. These guys choose to make it this fucking like endless debate.
Liars for reporting that they saw countless examples of IDF snipers shooting children in the head and drones targeting civilians intentionally. I mean, what do we expect?
What do we expect? I expect someone to hear a claim from a fucking liar and to look it up and see if it's true. Did I say that? Anything along those lines on the Ethan Klein podcast? I don't think I did. What did I actually say? Did you see the UNHCR report today? I'm a little late, but what the fuck's going on? What, is there a new one today? I don't know what the new one is. What's the new one? Where is... Let's maybe see what I said about IDF crimes.
I've been talking a lot about
She's going to play your segment to her audience for sure, obviously. Oh, there's no mention of snipers, is there? Why is Hasan's... Are doctors typically at the site of the incident to determine whether a shot was done intentionally? No. That's why that doctor is full of shit. That's why, yeah. In some cases you can tell because there's some ammunition that's only used by one side. But no, when a doctor says, oh, there's like high velocity ammunition, 1 or 2 shots, that's definitely Israel telling snipers to go and kill kids for no reason. Yeah, it's fucking retarded. Yeah, you're a child if you believe that's what's happening. Anyway. What did I actually say? What even is high velocity ammo? It's ammunition that's used in rifles. Can be used in an automatic or a sniper or a marksman rifle or just means a rifle. I don't even know what uses low velocity ammunition. What uses low velocity ammunition? Like handguns? To be running around
Pistols.
Gaza looking for soldiers, okay? Because even if the IDF they are civilians.
Yeah, Israel and doing that, but I'm not hearing the other way. I was just curious.
Wait, what was he
what,
asking
like-
me here? Do I think what happens from the civilians? Civilians die as well. Coming to you and blowing
go
up
for
your
context.
military installations and attacking your soldiers. And unfortunately, if those soldiers are near civilians, civilians die as well. So
Do you think that happens on both sides? Do you think that happens from the IDF as well?
do I think what
Or
happens from
or
the
innocent civilians get killed?
IDF? In what sense from the IDF? Like,
Because I'm hearing you talk about it a lot on from Hamas coming into Israel and doing that, but I'm not hearing the other way. I was just curious.
oh, what, like the IDF killing Palestinian civilians?
Yeah.
Yeah, the IDF is like in some ways, like the IDF they are, I guess, a professional state army, but they're also they're the last people you would want to be running around Gaza looking for soldiers. Okay, because even if Hamas does fight in a very cowardly way, like they hide in civilian buildings and under civilian buildings, they dress up as civilians. The IDF is an army full of like 19, 20, 21-year-olds, right? These are like like bedwears. Okay, these are people who are scared, they're jumpy, they're hateful, because obviously the Israeli youth is quite right-wing. They're very angry about October 7th. And unfortunately, the IDF doesn't really have a very good system of accountability, right? I think the longest I've ever seen an IDF soldier getting jail time for murdering a Palestinian, I think it was like 3 years, maybe 4. And that's since the founding of Israel. So obviously, people who are on the ground who maybe want to take a bit of revenge and all that, might just, take a bit of liberties and just kill some people who they know don't need to be killed, are not soldiers. So yeah, that's a...
What scares me about this conflict overall, and I'm not coming at you, I don't know.
Wow, solid answer, bro. Nice one. It's the kind of thing you say when you're actually just upset that they're not slaying enough nippers.
It's just gross.
See this BB person in chat, jumpy, quite the excuse. See when people do that, like even though I also said hateful, want to take revenge, exploits a lack of accountability. Like, how fucking retarded are you? Like, do you not think jumpy is one of the things that would influence a soldier's decision? Do you think they have to be evil or good? They can't also be in between where some of them are like jumpy. Do you think that's not even an option? Is that just like, I should have left that one out? You don't think in fucking Gaza, where you have no idea, where Hamas literally disguises themselves in civilian buildings, under civilian infrastructure, around civilians, dresses as civilians, you don't think soldiers are going to have someone come towards them and be like, what the fuck's going on here? I don't know if this is Hamas or not. Sorry, yeah, apparently that's the excuse. There we go, BB. Well done. What I actually did was I actually just supported them murdering people for no reason. Based.
Gross.
What a fucking retard. Google. Okay, so you don't know what kill zones are. Bye. All right. What is this? That's the reality, not an excuse. Yeah, it almost sounded like I wasn't making an excuse.